Dear viewers, thank you for choosing Manhwa Compilation channel. Enjoy watching. Ha, ha, was heard here and there. Something strange was happening here. Damn it. The strong-looking guy was completely at a loss. Why did I get so stuck? He looked around in fear. Seems like he broke away. He sighed with relief, hiding in some room. The guy was about to relax when suddenly, cold steel touched his throat. He cried out of surprise. Wait a minute. If you need money, I'll give everything I have. Just have mercy. There were people nearby. The party was in full swing and therefore, alas, no one was there heard. Die, the criminal wheezed. This was the last thing the guy heard in his life. Morning came and the city woke up to start a new day full of hopes and plans. But, thanks to the night killer, for some these plans will never come true. Shinjo Kai yawned, squinting in the morning light. I want to sleep. He moved lazily in the direction of the school, as if he was stalling for time longer. Still, it was a stupid decision to go to school immediately after working at night, he thought. The school premises were still half empty, except for a few students animatedly discussing something. Shinjo Kai looked around the class indifferently and followed to his seat. Hey, was heard in his direction. I've come. Good morning, Shinjo. Mido Shuji called out to him. He was the head of the class, and at the same time the main trump card of the football club. Yeah, Shinjo responded absent-mindedly, sitting down at his desk and intending to take a nap. Pfft. He is, as always, unbearable. Nagasho Reina immediately reacted to Shinjo's appearance. Nagasho was the leader of the girls in the class and took advantage of her unspoken position with pleasure. Why are you still bothering with him, Shuji? Now Nagasho was turning to Mido. He's our classmate. Mido, a good-natured guy by nature, smiled condescendingly. Cuckoo, he called out to Shinjo. And of course he's sleeping, Mido stated. He has no sense of tact. Nagasho expressed her dissatisfaction. At this time, another guy entered the class, his whole appearance, hairstyle and piercings. They said that he was one of the cool guys, perhaps a bandit. But here's a worse version. Nagasho chuckled. The guy who came in, Arashi Shunsuke, was indeed not just a tough guy, but the leader of the local hooligans. Good morning, Mr. Arashi. The guys greeted him in one voice. Yeah, Arashi responded lazily. He glanced around the classroom and his eyes fell on the sleeping Shinjo. You, shouted Arashi. Hey! But Shinjo didn't even give him his attention, continuing to sleep. I'm talking to you. You continue to sleep, and it won't seem like much. Arashi repeated angrily, extending his hand to grab Shinjo. Hey! Shinjo stretched lazily, practically not reacting to Arashi at all. What? Arashi was indignant. Well, what do you want? I want to sleep, Shinjo said lazily, while mechanically intercepting and tightly squeezing Arashi's hand. Oh, you... Let go, Arashi screamed. Despite his apparent outward mediocrity, Shinjo was a clever and strong guy. Oh, sorry. I didn't notice it myself, Shinjo apologized. Arashi pulled his hand away. Creepy moron. Can you be a little quieter? Kanzaki Rin made a remark. She was considered the main beauty of the class, a girl with many talents, including knowledge of literature. But still, she remained distant from everyone, despite the fact that she could stand up for herself, being a fan of martial arts. You also decided to be insolent to me? Arashi flushed, but suddenly Hashimoto Mirai blocked his path. Better stop before you break anything, she said sternly. The girl was a member of the disciplinary committee and respected order. Hey, finish it already. They'll just ignore you anyway. Narumi Ryoya, a frivolous-looking guy, added his word. Just keep quiet, Hashimoto answered sharply. The time was approaching the start of classes, but Arashi couldn't get one nuance out of his head. Shinjo. Why is he sleeping off in class? Arashi took his place at the desk, brutally putting his feet up. Kanzaki, without waiting for the teacher, buried her face in the book. Otherwise, in this class, such conflict situations are a daily routine. And only Shinjo is far from all these experiences. For him now the main thing is to sleep off after a boring night. Suddenly something attracted him. What the... thought Shinjo. What a strange feeling. Is there something under Mito's feet? The guys were animatedly talking about something, not noticing anything special. There was something resembling a portal there, but something suddenly showed activity.
Ha!
One of the students screamed. What is this? Another boy noticed. What's going on? The portal expanded in volume, and now this something has spread to the entire class. What the hell is this? Mito exclaimed. Panic began in the class. No, we'll think about it later. Mito quickly got his bearings. Guys, we're all leaving the classroom. We won't make it in time, thought Shinjo, and he turned out to be right. The energy from the resulting portal turned out to be so powerful that everyone switched off. Shinjo was the first to come to his senses. What kind of place is this? He thought. A building made of stone, and huge columns as a fortification. I have only one explanation. Shinjo slowly looked around. No matter how hard it is to believe, but we were swallowed up by this white light, he understood. And then the whole class was moved somewhere. Following Shinjo, other students began to regain consciousness. One of the students sighed. Oh, I'm safe, Hashimoto said calmly. Where did we end up? Mito could not understand. Why are we here? Another student was confused. What was that white light? The first thing that worried Nagasho. I ask you to calm down. I also don't know what happened to us, but... Mito, as the class leader, tried to calm everyone down. First of all, I would like to make sure that no one was hurt. Good move, Shinjo noted. He was able to calm even those who were one step away from panic. There's no point in wasting time. Arashi decided to demonstrate his courage and leadership. If you're not going to figure out the situation, then there's nothing to talk about with you. Hey, follow me. Yes. Arashi's henchman obediently answered, heading after him. It's true, but... Wait, Arashi. Shinjo stopped him. Huh? What do you want? Arashi looked around, dissatisfied. We can hear footsteps outside the door. Someone is coming towards us. What? Arashi began to listen warily. 2, Shinjo mentally determined. A man and a woman. The only question is, what do they want from us? The door opened and the same stream of blinding light burst out of it. 2 people actually appeared on the threshold. A man and a woman in strange clothes. What you would expect from candidates for heroes, the woman smiled. You managed to maintain your composure. What a beauty. But what is that on her? Cosplay? Reminiscent of a knight and princess from the Middle Ages? She said something about heroes, didn't she? The students reacted violently. The guy with the sword is well built. There is also this wary atmosphere around him, Shinjo noted. He is strong, and this is clearly not cosplay. What about the girl? What kind of training did she undergo? But Shinjo switched his gaze to the girl. In general, nothing remarkable. I'm glad to meet you. My name is Leonora, and I am the Archbishop of the sacred country of Digrest. And next to me is my night guy. Leonora addressed the school children. What kind of nonsense are you talking about? I've never heard of such a country in my life. Arashi immediately became rude. This is not nonsense, but I can understand your point of view, Leonora answered tactfully. We apologize. We ourselves have no idea how we ended up here, so we're a little confused. One of the students decided to smooth the situation over. Could you tell us what's going on here? Asked Mito. Yes, of course. That's exactly what I'm here for, Leonora answered, smiling. The easiest way to describe your situation is this. You have been called to another world. Leonora folded her hands as if in prayer. For you are the hope of humanity that is capable of overthrowing the king. Demons, you are hero candidates. Honestly, your story is hard to believe, Mito doubted. All you do is talk about some incomprehensible nonsense. Arashi began to be rude again. You choose your expressions there. Before you is the saint of our country. Night Guy could not stand it. Shut up, old man. If you show off, I'll kill you. Arashi didn't let up. It seems you will understand your place only after you experience pain, Guy replied sharply, grabbing his sword. Guy, stop it, Leonora spoke very tactfully. No. Even if he still doesn't understand much, it will be better if we rein him in now. Guy was not going to forgive his rudeness. Well, that's great. Die, old man. Arashi clenched his fists. Challenged a man with a sword? He's got a lot of courage, that's true. Shinjo was surprised. I'm already used to fighting against guys with weapons. I didn't understand all the danger, Arashi. The main thing is to dodge the first blow and hit from below. Arashi attacked the knight. It's even more convenient to fight with your bare hands. But the knight's reaction turned out to be lightning fast. I didn't even notice the movement of the sword, Arashi finally realized, receiving a blow to the forehead. Now I've only ruined my skin. Will you continue? Asked Guy. Isn't that enough? Put away the sword, Leonora asked. Yes, Guy answered obediently. I apologize for such a rude reception, Leonora apologized. We never wanted to harm you. I will now explain to you the reason why you found yourself in this world, Leonora continued. Everything, down to the smallest details. So, to begin with, Leonora said more sternly, I ask you to remain silent. The school children were dumbfounded happened, so everyone was paying attention. In this world, humanity is currently experiencing an invasion by the Demon King and is on the verge of extinction, Leonora continued. Our sacred country of Degrest also continues to resist, but we are not able to fully resist the invaders. The Demon King. Standard story, Shinjo thought. For all humanity, Leonora said with hope in her voice. You, candidate heroes, are the last hope. In other words, we must overcome the Demon King? Mito asked with disbelief in his voice. No, it's impossible. Narumi immediately objected. That's right, Hashimoto supported him. We have never fought, even more. Looking around the class, she added, not each of us is able to withstand this situation. Please, one of the students cried, bring me back to my world. No matter how impossible it is, you will have to do it, Guy said, frowning. Besides, the only way for you to return home is to defeat the Demon King. Why? Narumi couldn't believe his ears. I don't believe it, Hashimoto said in confusion. I don't know if this is a lie or not, Shinjo thought. But it seems that he is trying to prepare them for the worst. Although, even if they come to terms with the situation, people who have lived carefree days will not suddenly become ready for murders. It requires experience, and especially, it requires talent. They called us here to save their asses, but you don't give a damn about our opinion. Arashi was indignant. And do you think that we will silently obey you? Why are you staring? Arashi exclaimed, noticing Guy's dissatisfied look. You're pissing me off. He hasn't lost his fighting spirit, Guy noted to himself. A promising fighter. Perhaps in the future, he will become a serious threat. Maybe right away. Guy mechanically squeezed the hilt of his sword. Get rid of him. At that moment, Leonora leaned towards Arashi. She touched him tenderly. Give me healing. Treatment, she said quietly, and his wound healed. We are guilty before you, Leonora said with her eyes downcast, and I ask forgiveness for all our sins. What's going on? Nagasho noticed the miracle of healing. What kind of light is this? This is the power of witchcraft, Leonora answered. I use the miraculous power given to me by the god Digrest. It temporarily brings a new law into the world. Leonora's palms glowed with that same blinding light. It's more familiar to you as magic, I guess, she added. They know our culture, Shinjo noted. This is not their first call? This power, Leonora said, approaching Mito. The main reason for your appearance here. Shuji, Nagasho shouted. Your hands are sparkling. The light in your hand, Mito noted, has become a sword? My miraculous power is capable of awakening the power of blessing in hero candidates, explained Leonora. Strength is granted randomly, and I cannot change it. I understand how selfish my request to you is, Leonora continued, folding her hands as if in prayer. And yet, I ask you, lend us your strength. It doesn't matter how much power you give us. It won't make us any better at fighting, Mito answered. I understand that you will have to go through training, said Leonora. And of course, our country promises that it will take full care of you. Okay, Mito replied. Guys, listen. Mito addressed everyone. For the sake of our own survival, we first of all now need protection and knowledge. In an emergency, blessing can save us. So why don't we listen to them? Well, since Mito is for it. That's right. I agree. Classmates supported Mito. Thank you, said Leonora. Then let me give you God's blessing. Said Hashimoto Mirei, who was the first to feel the changes. She was blessed with telekinesis. Arashi Shunsuke received the blessing of explosion as a gift. Not a single disciple was left without a blessing, except one. Has everyone received their gift? Leonora clarified. No, I still stayed, admitted Shinjo Kai. Oh, sorry. I didn't notice you, Leonora apologized. Well, come over. She put her hand on his shoulder, and light poured out of it. Shinjo felt something. What the hell? There's something wrong with my vision. Through the blinding light, Shinjo saw all the information about Leonora. 18 years old, has many magical gifts. Seeing Shinjo's confusion, Leonora realized, apparently you have the blessing of evaluation. Very rare. Evaluation? Shinjo asked. It seems, with its help you can find out details about the strength and skills of the selected target, Leonora explained. Shinjo thought. He saw all his qualities and skills as a killer. I see. So everything is displayed in this window, Shinjo quickly figured out. It looks like a game window, quite easy to understand. Arashi was happy with his blessing. He immediately tried it. Well, what can you say? I have the power of explosion. He turned to Shinjo with a grin. What about you? Shinjo was silent. Now can you make your eyes red? Arashi continued to mock. The rest of his classmates supported him. He always behaves so arrogantly that it's even nice to see how he's left out. Nagasho laughed. Why did they become so self-confident? Thought Shinjo. From the information received, I cannot say exactly how useful our blessings are. These blessings were lent to us, and no one knows when they will decide to take them back. Still, there are many ways to kill someone. Now everyone has received their blessing, Leonora continued to explain. I understand that it is still difficult for you to control them. But one day, your gifts will become fangs that will pierce the Demon King. You must be tired, Leonora said, smiling after a short pause. Take a good rest today. By evening, each of the students who became candidates for heroes was taken and distributed to different rooms. Maybe we can collect more information before going to bed, Shinjo thought. God, it's night outside. Why did they just send us on patrol? One of the knights was indignant. Today they called for candidates for heroes, so there's nothing to be done about it. The second knight answered him. Candidates for heroes. Will they even be able to defend themselves? The first knight doubted. I saw them briefly, just children. I doubt that they even know how to hold a sword in their hands. I can't believe that they will be able to defeat the king demons. Some kind of madhouse. This is the work of the saint. She probably has a plan, the second knight objected to him. This is the third patrol, Shinjo noted. According to their words, it is clear that the security has been strengthened. Shinjo decided to take advantage of his blessing and immediately considered information about one of the knights. Only fencing is his skill. Shinjo was surprised. If he had miraculous power, I could get caught. However, it seems that not everyone has it. Shinjo began to survey the surrounding area. I roughly understood the geography around the castle, he concluded. A typical city fortress. Was heard behind the walls. I wonder what the situation is like inside the castle, thought Shinjo. How difficult will it be to get inside while they have increased security? There's no need to rush. I'll finish for today. Shinjo was about to leave, but he noticed his classmates on the lawn. Great place, huh? Said Nagasho. It's spacious. Listen, maybe we won't, one of the girls whispered in fear. What if we anger them? Are you afraid? The other one urged her. We'll just practice the blessing, that's all. If anything, we'll blame it all on Hashimoto, suggested Nagasho. I won't fall asleep anyway, but at least this will be useful. Shinjo silently watched his classmates. God's blessing. right? Shinjo determined. All this makes me worry. I'd better watch them. Suddenly there was a noise behind him. What is this? Shinjo looked around. Hey, what's that strange sound? One of the girls remarked. But that's true, Nagasho confirmed. What's there? Another classmate whispered in fear. A huge dragon appeared from the thick grass. Hey! Nagasho was taken aback by surprise. What is this? Another girl screamed. I haven't seen such an animal yet. Looks like a lizard, Shinjo thought. Conduct an assessment. Is this not a name, but the name of a species? No, there's no time for that now. The lizard turned out to be quite harmless and did not pose any danger. The only thing he had was status. Sudden. He received this status due to the fact that he stunned the girls, Shinjo realized. Meanwhile, the lizard began to emit a wild roar, frightening the girls even more. Kaya. They started to run away, screaming. And he's a fighter. He attacked people without a second thought. Shinjo continued to analyze the lizard. On all fours, it moves quickly, but linearly. And it doesn't seem to shine with intelligence. It looks like a large creature. But if you use a knife... Shinjo swung and threw his knife at the lizard, hitting it right on target. Ooh! The beast yelled. Grew! It worked. Shinjo was satisfied with his trick. But the wound is not deep. Ha! Ha! The girls ran screaming. Ah! Nagasho tripped over a stone and fell. Reina! One of the girls wanted to stop and help. Chinami, no! The other girl did not let her do this. Nagasho was left alone. Nagasho sat down on the grass, rubbing the bruised area. Foo! It was heard very quickly. Eh? Nagasho turned around. Frar! The lizard was already nearby. No! Nagasho whispered in despair. Reina! Chinami screamed, seeing Nagasho trying to defend herself from the lizard attacking her. Suddenly, a knife flying from somewhere stops the lizard and the beast falls. Eh! Nagasho just screamed. Reina! The girls immediately ran up. What happened? Someone saved me, Nagasho said, dumbfounded. Let's leave quickly, said one of the girls. Exactly. I wouldn't want to run into another creature. Nagasho agreed. Gone? Shinjo was convinced. There was no particular reason to kill him, but if I just left, I wouldn't be able to sleep properly. Shinjo walked up to the lizard and took out his knife. In this world, such monsters roam everywhere, he thought, looking at the beast. It looks like I won't get around much. Suddenly some noise was heard again. Is there someone? Shinjo raised his head, listening to the silence of the night. Shh. It's time for me to leave, too. Suddenly, right next to a huge stone, someone's silhouette appeared. Hero candidates, said the hooded figure. Just small fry. I'm even disappointed. But there is one with a similar smell. In the morning, the body of the lizard was discovered. The school children looked at this sight in fear. Yesterday evening, this monster was roaming around the walls of the capital, said Guy, observing the reaction of the guys. Monster, Mito repeated. Monsters are the minions of the Demon King, and they love to feast on human flesh, Guy told the students. Now you will become their main target. Steady. Did you find out anything? Guy turned to the guy with glasses who was examining the monster's body. There are traces of witchcraft, the work of a demon of an average level, if not higher, answered Steady. Maybe they heard a rumor about hero candidates and decided to investigate the situation. Witchcraft? Shinjo noticed. Something new. Is it different from miraculous power? So this monster was controlled by a demon? Mito clarified. Oh, you're right, confirmed Steady. Strong demons are able to control monsters. To do this, they use a technique called witchcraft. Firstly, monsters are plants and animals mutated with the help of mana. They are classified according to their ferocity and strength, and only a living organism can become a monster. The main source of their mana is evil. In other words, the Demon King is the very source of their life. Logical, that he and his henchmen are capable of controlling monsters, Steady explained. That's enough. It's time for us to leave. Guy abruptly interrupted his story. How can this be? Steady was offended. I still have so much to study. This researcher thought about his Shinjo. I think he can be used to collect information, but the main problem now is, he switched to the lizard, that this creature was controlled. The lizard's status was determined. Submission. So, then I felt the presence of a demon? Shinjo understood. He is quite skilled. I miraculously managed to notice him. Perhaps he is still wandering somewhere nearby. So scared of an imminent death? Himself, Shinjo asked himself. Don't be afraid. We must defeat the Demon King, otherwise we will not return home, Arashi reminded. And I'm not going to stay here for long. Yes. For once you are right, Kanzaki agreed. That's right, Mito supported. If we want to return home, then we have no other choice. But this monster, one of their students recalled, they have become so bold because this world is like a game. But because we are in another world, the essence of the war has not changed. We will kill. Shinjo was mentally indignant. It would be better for them to realize this as soon as possible. Well, there's no need to rush so much, said Leonora. You don't yet understand the full essence of your new powers. You should go through training first. Despite everything, we called you into this world as hero candidates, Leonora continued. Your rate of progress is significantly different from the speed of the local inhabitants. A week has passed since the start of training. I don't understand a word. Shinjo looked at the book, once again trying to read something. It's strange that we communicate freely with each other without language barriers. Shinjo looked out the window with longing. The guys were training hard in the yard. Assessment is not the most suitable blessing for battle. I was forbidden to participate in training, but at least they gave me access to the library. Shinjo became completely sad. Knowledge is also power, right? Said Leonora. And the guys laughed at his blessing. It seems there is only one history of the country, Shinjo noted, and nothing about demons. Shinjo quietly watched the guys practice. Leonora didn't lie, he thought. They are developing by leaps and bounds. And among them there are 5 best: Narumi, Arashi, Kansaki, Hashimoto, and Nagasho. In addition, there is one who has surpassed them all. Ga! Mito shouted, knocking the sword out of the hands of his mentor and partner in the saring. I give up, said the knight. It's amazing. You are already stronger than me. It's all thanks to your instructions. Mito answered him. I am sincerely grateful to you for this. Shinjo considered Mito's information, noting that he had made progress, especially in swordsmanship. A week ago, all of Mito's indicators were in the DF region. Even if Mito is a genius, this is just an unimaginable leap, Shinjo thought with envy. God's blessing not only gives the ability, but also affects our bodies? Hey, what are you doing at the training ground if you don't know how to fight? The guys joked. Sit and quietly read your books. Again, they are doing their own thing. Shinjo was offended. The others also began to look down on me. Is this the result of the growth of their powers? Don't ignore me. We're friends, right? The classmate joked. Shinjo could not stand it and tripped the offender. What's wrong with you? Did you fall out of the blue? Did you get hurt in an hour? Hey. The guys began to fuss around the fallen man. Oh, you! The fallen man threatened, looking at Shinjo. Leave him, said Arashi. She's coming. Leonora, accompanied by Guy, walked to the lawn and waited for everyone to finish. Thank you for your attention, she began. You have all achieved remarkable results. Even we did not expect such progress. Therefore, we decided to accelerate the schedule. Schedule? Don't say that right now you will send us after the head of the Demon King. Narumi was wary. I wouldn't ask you to do that, Leonora replied. It's time for you to fight a real battle with a monster. Fight? With a monster? The guys were confused. So, today we have practice. As you can see, it will take place in the forest, Guy began to explain. We cannot move in a large group, it will only get in the way. Therefore, you will be divided into teams of 2-3 people. 2-3 people. That means, Shuji, do you want to join my team? Nagasho quickly realized. Yes, Mito Shuji agreed without hesitation. Can I come to you? Another girl asked. Arashi, we are with you. Arashi will endure any monster that we meet. Two of his admirers began to praise Arashi. As you wish, Arashi answered indifferently. Why did I choose you for my team? Hashimoto said disappointedly, looking at Narumi. Well, the two of us can do anything, Narumi encouraged her. Great. Have everyone formed teams? Guy asked. But then he noticed that two people remained on the sidelines, Shinjo and Kanzaki. Guy was surprised. What's wrong with you? For some reason, no one invited me to their group, Kanzaki said offendedly. Because we are too scared, answered the remaining three guys. Nothing can be done. I'll team up with Shinjo. Do you mind? Said Kanzaki, turning to Shinjo. Yeah. Do as you please. Shinjo agreed without a trace of emotion. Kanzaki Rin? Shinjo thought, looking sideways at Kanzaki. Confident and cool-headed, she behaves like a proud woman who will not allow anyone to stand in her way. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Kanzaki asked. Nothing. Forget it. Shinjo answered her. The team that defeats the largest number of monsters will receive a special reward from us, Leonora encouraged. I wish you all good luck. Now let's get started. Shinjo and Kanzaki moved slightly away from each other. I'll say right away, my blessing is better than that of any of our classmates, Kanzaki immediately outlined her position. So you don't even have to do anything. Just don't get in the way. Okay, I rely on you. Shinjo didn't even think of objecting. Pfft, no pride. Kanzaki chuckled. First, we can look at Kanzaki's combat potential, Shinjo decided. There are 4 signals around us at once. Apparently, they decided to surround us. A small goblin suddenly appeared on their way. Monster! Kanzaki wasn't even confused. Gyagya! The goblin waved his club. Fall down! Kanzaki shouted, using her strength. This is Kanzaki's blessing. Control, Shinjo thought disappointedly. The power that forces others to follow its orders. Kanzaki, there are still monsters around, Shinjo reminded. That's how it is. Okay. Kanzaki, not paying attention to his words, continued to practice with the goblin. Drop your weapon, hands behind your back. But the blessing has its price. What is it? You look tired, Shinjo remarked. If you use a blessing for too long, it becomes exhausting, Kanzaki explained. Isn't the energy consumption too much? Shinjo thought. Then quickly kill him before the others catch up, advised Shinjo. Eh? Kanzaki didn't expect this. K to kill. But isn't he similar to people? Gi. The goblin looked pitifully at Kanzaki. So what? He attacked us, did I forget? Shinjo insisted. They are our enemies. There is no point in leaving them alive. Yes, you're right. I understood you, Kanzaki said somehow hesitantly. Even having received power, she remains a simple, confused schoolgirl, Shinjo thought, picking up a stone at the same time. Well, the main thing is that she makes the right decision when danger comes. Meanwhile, there were more goblins around. Woo, 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 they made inarticulate sounds. We're out, Shinjo said. Okay, Kanzaki tried to hide her fear. Fall down, she commanded, forcing the goblins to obey. Ha! What will you do next? Shinjo asked. Shut up. It's better to help. And don't stand still. Kanzaki was indignant. You yourself told me not to get in the way, Shinjo reminded her. And damn you, Kanzaki got angry. I'll kill them. That's what you want from me, right? Monsters, Kanzaki addressed the goblins. Break your necks. The goblins obeyed. Can you force someone to do this? Shinjo was surprised. Yes. However, the stronger the enemy, the less the chance of success. To tell the truth, participating in a real battle and seeing dead bodies, Kanzaki admitted her weakness. This is not how I imagined it. They attacked us themselves. In other words, they are enemies, Shinjo reminded her. The enemy must be killed, and it doesn't matter whether it's a monster or a person. If, of course, you want to stay alive. Why are you so calm? Kanzaki suspected something. You don't really have any strength. I'm not shy. This is one of my strengths, Shinjo explained. Yes, there's not much to profit from here. Shinjo took a closer look at the goblins, finding nothing interesting. "What are we going to do next?" he asked Kanzaki. "Shall we move on? If you're afraid, we can go back." "No, we're moving on," Kanzaki said confidently. Now she is stubborn, but she has a stable psyche, Shinjo stated for himself. "We can work with this. By the way, I wonder how the others are doing." For the rest, things were more serious. Hey, what should we do with him?" Narumi shouted as he ran away. "Don't ask me," Hashimoto answered, trying not to slow down. "But I heard that the monsters here are weak." "Damn!" Narumi decided to stop. "All or nothing!" "I'm with you," Hashimoto supported. "Wind!" Narumi called on his power. "Stone, forward!" Hashimoto joined. But the monster turned out to be strong, and the force did not work. "This is not good," Hashimoto said, trying to maintain composure. "What?" Narumi looked at the monster in fear. "How can we cope with this monster?" The huge monster was already drooling, anticipating a delicacy. "I will definitely return to my world. From birth, I was raised by my grandfather, and I still haven't repaid this debt to him. I dreamed of making him happy," Kanzaki recalled. "I'm sure my disappearance saddens him. So we'll move in a straight line? It won't be long before you get lost." Shinjo interrupted her memories. "As long as we go straight, we won't get lost," Kanzaki insisted. "If you really believe in this, then you obviously haven't been in the forest often," Shinjo concluded. "Shut up," Kanzaki answered sharply. "Just recently he behaved so horribly." Kanzaki looked at Shinjo out of the corner of her eye. "What is this guy?" "What?" "There's something on my face then." Feeling her gaze on him, Shinjo asked. "Nothing," Kanzaki answered. "Kaya." Someone's scream reached them. Was that Hashimoto's voice? Kanzaki was surprised. "It looks like she got into something. What should we do?" asked Shinjo. "Of course we will help." "I hope she wasn't hurt," Kanzaki answered without thinking. "You're surprisingly kind-hearted," Shinjo suddenly said. "What did you think about me?" Kanzaki asked. "It doesn't matter. Let's go." "Hashimoto!" Narumi called out to her. "Are you okay?" It seems that Hashimoto was injured. "Okay. Run away," she answered. "And leave you here?" Narumi was indignant, looking back. The monster was already nearby. "Curse!" Narumi said with despair. "Monster! Stop!" Kanzaki, who arrived in time, commanded. The monster was surprised, but obeyed. "Kanzaki!" Hashimoto was delighted at her appearance. "You are our savior," Narumi thanked. "It's bad. I won't be able to hold him for long," admitted Kanzaki. "Kanzaki's power has different effects on different opponents," Shinjo noted. "Narumi, is Hashimoto alive?" asked Shinjo. "Shinjo!" Narumi looked back. "The wounds are serious, but she is still breathing." "Then grab her and run away from here," Shinjo advised. No, I'm with you," Narumi wanted to object. "And will you leave Hashimoto to slowly die here?" Shinjo asked reproachfully. "Sorry, I'm yours." "Deptor," Narumi thanked him as he walked. "Come here, Mido or Leonora, if you meet them." Shinjo asked. "Got it," Narumi answered him. "So..." Shinjo turned his gaze to the monster frozen in one pose. "This is our problem." "Start the assessment," Shinjo concentrated. The monster turned out to be an armored mutant bear. Serious stats, especially defense. Shinjo reasoned mentally. Apparently, he has strong fur. Even I can't break through it. And what kind of mutant is this? I can't do it anymore!" Kanzaki screamed. "Gwa-ah-ah!" roared the frozen bear. "We've bought enough time. It's time to run away," Shinjo advised. Yeah," Kanzaki agreed, but suddenly she felt weak and sank to the ground. What? Kanzaki didn't have the strength to get up. Sorry, I can't feel my legs. This is bad, thought Shinjo. He had no choice but to take out his smoke bomb and throw it at the bear. Kanzaki clearly did not expect like that. After that, he took Kanzaki in his arms and carried him to the side. Kanzaki did not immediately understand what had happened. "Be silent, or he will notice us," said Shinjo. "That smoke, what was that?" Kanzaki asked. "A simple smoke bomb. I made it out of boredom while you were training." Shinjo got out of it. It's a lie, Shinjo thought at the same time. I am always at least minimally armed, so I came into this world with my own weapons, but my reserves are limited, so I wouldn't really like to waste it again. Shinjo had a pretty good arsenal with him. It's quite natural for a killer to carry a weapon, Shinjo reasoned to himself. Forgive me, Kanzaki suddenly said. For what? Shinjo did not understand. Well, it was I who said that we would help them, but in the end they saved me. Kanzaki explained. There is no need for your apology. Shinjo objected. If I really want to, you better thank me. Okay, thank you, said Kanzaki. If you were always so polite, people would flock to you in droves, Shinjo told her. Huh? Kanzaki flushed. The main thing is that I told you to be quieter, Shinjo interrupted her. What are we going to do? Kanzaki asked in a quieter voice. It's best to run as fast as you can. No, there's no need for that, said Shinjo. Help has already arrived to them. Mido, Nagasho, and another girl. Are you the one who wounded Narumi and Hashimoto? Said Mido, who approached. Now, I am your opponent. Mido activated the sword that protects from evil and attacked the monster. But the armored mutant bear turned out to be surprisingly strong, almost impenetrable. Durable, noted Mido. Shuji, aside, Nagasho commanded, activating her power. Fry, she shouted, bringing down powerful flames on the bear. A monster of all. He tried his best to escape, but, in the end, he couldn't stand it and stopped, screaming in pain. I knew that he wouldn't be able to stand against this. Nagasho praised herself. Well done, Reina. Mido praised her work. But what is this? The monster was not going to fall. It continued to roar with the intention of attacking again. The bear was standing right in front of Mido. What? Nagasho screamed. Keep calm, Reina. Mido reassured her. Your attack worked. He slowed down. The three of us will defeat him. The main thing is not to rush. Do you understand? Mido looked straight at the bear without a drop of fear in his eyes. Okay, Nagasho agreed. That's right, another girl supported. The three of them attacked the monster, each using their own strength. The demon was watching all this. It's just a matter of time, he grinned. The demon was an experienced assassin named Delphus. An armored bear will no longer defeat them. Delphus recognized the guy's victory in this fight, but Delphus's special attention was attracted by Mido Shuji. This speed of development, and what calmness. Delphus examined Mido, appreciating his qualities. He is special. Mido remained confident, continuing to finish off the monster. I just wanted to conduct a little reconnaissance, but I'll have to change plans, Delphus thought seriously. I'll finish him here. Ooh! Mido shouted, finally discovering the monster's weak point. Finish him. Mido thrust his sword into the bear's body, and it fell defeated. It seems that everything is over now, but Delphus thought differently. Take this lesson with you to the next world, boy. The demon hissed, grinning evilly. In this world, after killing the enemy. Delphus watched the guys rejoice at their victory and waited. You can never relax, finished Delphus thought, planning to finish off the guys. But at that moment, Delphus's face changed its expression. The grin gave way to surprise and a feeling of fear. He felt the touch of cold steel on his neck. Yes, you, Delphus, stammering, tried to say something, not having time to use the knife clutched in his hand. Shinjo turned out to be more dexterous. Delphus raised his hands up, dropping his blade. I'll remember, Delphus said, looking sideways at Shinjo. The demon urgently needed another plan. I can't believe that he took me by surprise, thought Delphus. Well, no. The demon did not take his eyes off his accidentally dropped blade. We need to figure out a way to escape. Delphus, despite his situation, was still trying to find a way out of the situation. But Shinjo seemed to read his thoughts and got ahead of him again, striking the demon's legs. Huh? Delphus screamed, finding himself immobilized on the ground. Legs? Don't shout like that, Shinjo threatened him. It will be too problematic if Mido and his friends notice us. Shinjo sat astride the demon lying on the ground, not allowing him to come to his senses. I have questions for you, Shinjo began. Answer, and I'll let you go. Who are you that I should answer your questions? Delphus was indignant. A shadow from another world, Shinjo said mysteriously. Delphus, not understanding what was happening, now lay obediently, not particularly resisting. That creepy aura, Shinjo thought, trying to compare past and present events. So it was him? I knew that we were being watched, but I couldn't track you down. Shinjo again turned to the demon. So I used Mito as bait. So you knew about me from the very beginning? Delphus was surprised. We came from another world, so I have little information about the structure of this world, Shinjo continued. I want you to tell me everything you know about demons. And you think that I'll just take it and start talking? Delphus laughed openly, angering Shinjo even more. To be convincing, Shinjo again reminded the demon what position he was in now. Delphus screamed heart-rendingly in pain. Honestly, it will be more useful for you to speak, Shinjo said, standing astride the wounded demon. If you don't want to go to hell on Earth. Ha! Delphus wheezed, unable to free himself. The demon was furious at his own, albeit temporary, powerlessness. Don't underestimate me, kid, thought Delphus. The demon made the last decision in his life. Gah! The demon wheezed. You! Shinjo was surprised and upset at the same time by what he saw. Was the demon dying? Ooh, ooh, ooh! Delphus moaned. His eyes glazed over. He had poison for suicide? Shinjo guessed, and they approached the question carefully. Shinjo left the now lifeless demon alone. The army of the Demon King, then? I feel like they will cause problems. Shinjo realized the seriousness of the mission entrusted to the guys. Shinjo turned on the virtual scoreboard, intending to check something. What's there? He asked. See, Shinjo, said Kanzaki, who approached. Is he dead? She looked at the demon's body with horror. Kanzaki? Shinjo did not immediately notice her. Kanzaki, how much did you see? He asked carefully. Not. A little, Kanzaki said in confusion. Just when he fell. This is a killer from the Demon King's army, said Shinjo. The army of the Demon King? Kanzaki asked, looking at the demon. Yes. This bear is his puppet, Shinjo confirmed. And the monster that attacked Nagasho and her friends was his doing. So, he tried to kill us? Now Kanzaki understood exactly what the problem was. It's natural that the Demon King's army will send someone to kill the hero candidates, Shinjo said. That's right. I was too naive. Kanzaki admitted her mistake. But how did you notice him? She looked straight into Shinjo's eyes, as if she was trying to catch him on something. After all, only you knew about him, right? Shinjo felt it. In addition, for some reason, the Yemen suddenly wanted to open up to this girl. I think there's no point in hiding anymore, he thought. In our homeworld, I worked part-time, carrying out contract killings, said Shinjo, turning his gaze to the demon. So I sensed a colleague in the shop nearby. Contract killings? What are you talking about? Kanzaki couldn't believe her ears. What she heard shocked her. Whether you believe me or not is up to you to decide, but the presence of a corpse is a fact. Shinjo finished his revelations. Kanzaki was silent, still trying to comprehend what she had heard. Kanzaki, don't tell anyone about what you saw today, Shinjo asked. The class is already on edge due to Hashimoto's injury. Oh, okay, Kanzaki promised, now looking at Shinjo completely differently. You're surprisingly kind. Why be so attentive to the feelings of your classmates? Shinjo thought for a moment. Unlike me, they are not used to fighting, he replied. Kanzaki's control, Shinjo thought, may be useful to me in the future. Leaving the demon lying, Kanzaki and Shinjo returned to the guys. They gathered near Hashimoto, who was lying on the neck. Sitting right next to Hashimoto was Hono Shiori, who received the blessing of healing. Hono moved her hand over Hashimoto's body. Please, heal, Hono whispered. A white light of healing emanated from Hono's hands. The guys froze, waiting for the result. Well, Hono, Narumi was the first to break down. Is Hashimoto okay? Uh-huh. I think in an hour she will be completely healthy, answered Hono. Thank God, Narumi said with relief. But you're simply amazing, Shuji. Narumi turned with admiration to Mito standing next to him. This giant was terribly strong. Yes, he was strong, Mito agreed. But together, We can defeat anyone. Shinjo stood aside, not interfering in the conversation. At some point, he felt Kanzaki's meaningful gaze on him. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Shinjo asked Kanzaki. "Nothing," answered Kanzaki, standing nearby. "Gentlemen, I see you've all already returned." Leonora's voice was heard. Night Guy, as always, accompanied her. "Mistress Leonora, Mr. Guy," said Mido. "Where have you been all this time?" Narumi was indignant. "Not far from the forest. They did their job. They looked after you," Guy answered. "Wah! Then why didn't you help us?" Narumi was even more indignant. "What kind of training would it be if we helped you every time?" With a strange Guy said with a smile. "Mr. Guy," Mido intervened in the conversation. "She was in danger. She could even die. So why?" Mido was so stunned by Guy's words that he didn't know what else to say. In a real battle, everyone's life is under threat of death. Guy's face changed. Harsh notes sounded in his voice. "From now on, only such battles. So don't whine about such a trifle." The whole class was shocked by what they heard. Guy called what happened a trifle? "But you deceived us." Mido returned to his claims again. "Didn't you say it yourself? Tell us that in this forest there are only weak monsters?" "Most likely. This is the work of a demon killer." Leonora tried to explain what happened. "Demon killers?" The guys were even more shocked. "Initially, never in this forest, there were no armored bears." Leonora began to explain again. "Most likely, they used it to assess your strength. I believe he is still hiding somewhere in the forest," Guy added on his own. "Yes, we need to strengthen safety," Leonora practically promised. "We should also strengthen our training," she added. "Otherwise, they will all simply be killed." "Strengthen? Will it be even more difficult? Aren't we already working to the limit? Can they kill us?" Indignant questions from the students rained down. "Mrs. Leonora, this is ridiculous. This is our first real fight. Everyone is worried." Mido was indignant. "Even if this is ridiculous, you will have to go through this, otherwise you will die." Leonora answered without a shadow of sympathy or understanding. Mido did not know what to answer to this. "They called us here, and now you're still giving orders." Arashi became seriously angry, coming close to Guy. "I'll say it now, so that there is no misunderstanding." Guy began to shout, "You are all just pawns of Mrs. Leonora. Don't think that you have the right to disobey her." "What?" The school children only opened their mouths at what they heard, not knowing what to say. After such speeches, Arashi became furious. "Excellent. That means I'll kill you here." He moved towards Guy. "Calm down, Arashi." Mido stopped him. "Are you telling me to calm down?" shouted Arashi. "If we go against them, we will make the whole state our enemy," explained his position. "Mido, we can't stand it." "As I expected, Mido is well aware of your situation," Guy said with a grin. "You are valuable pawns for us, and as long as you are obedient, no one will get hurt." "Go against the whole country?" Arashi laughed evilly. "Great." He moved towards Guy again. "Die!" Arashi shouted in rage, activating his blessing explosion. Guy did not expect such a denouement. There was open surprise in his eyes. The explosion was activated. "Ha, nothing!" Arashi said with satisfaction. But Guy was not hurt. Arashi looked at this old man in amazement. What's wrong with him? What kind of blessing does Guy have? The fire dissipated, and Guy dealt a powerful blow to Arashi. "Gah!" Arashi cried out in surprise, falling to the ground. "Ha!" The school children were dumbfounded by what had happened. They crowded around the lying Arashi, not knowing what to do. Guy stood safe and sound. "This is what you are capable of!" Guy shouted, not allowing anyone to come to their senses. "From tomorrow, severe training awaits you. Get ready," said Guy, leaving with Leonora. Arashi!" the students shouted. Thank God Arashi was alive. "I will definitely finish off this bastard," Arashi hissed angrily. The day after combat practice, Leonora, as if nothing had happened, again stood in front of the school children, this time accompanied by Steady. "By order of Lady Leonora, for today I will become the leader of your training," Steady announced, smiling. By the way, yesterday someone was injured. Has everyone managed to recover? Steady asked. It was me. Everything has already healed, thanks to Shiori's healing. Hashimoto replied. I'm in perfect condition. And this idiot is fine too, Hashimoto added, pointing her finger at Arashi. Pfft! Arashi grunted in response. I see, that means among the blessings there was also healing, Steady smiled. It's just wonderful. Shiori just smiled back, pleased with the result of her work. So I'll explain to you the essence of the training. Steady continued. This is my research center, and today you will fight monsters in it. In other words, this place is overflowing with monsters, Mito clarified. It will be easier if you see it once. Steady answered, adjusting his glasses. The school children proceeded into the room. Behind bars, there were goblins sitting in the room. Gee, gee, gee. They giggled evilly at the sight of them coming in. In another cage next to the goblins was Lizard Val, from the same species that Nagasho and his friends encountered on the first night of their stay here. And one more thing. There was an ogre, a rather huge, evil monster. Hey! Hano examined the monsters with interest. All this, Steady boasted, my collection of monsters for experiments. Steady Research Center. Leonora added information from herself. It is also used as a field training ground for soldiers. This is very beneficial for me because based on your battles, I can collect data on different types of monsters. Steady additionally indicated. After this, combat practice began. The students trained on a variety of monsters, honing your skills, and only Shinjo, as before, remained out of work. They are surprisingly calm for those who were thrown onto the battlefield without consent, Shinjo thought while watching his classmates. Is yesterday's experience taking its toll? Although, there is still fear in their movements. Shinjo watched as Nagasho fought the ogre. Ooh, she screamed from time to time. The ogre was quite a ferocious and strong monster. Mr. Steady, this monster is too dangerous. Mito could not stand it, seeing that Nagasho was having a hard time. I don't think so, objected Steady. Mistress Leonora specifically asked me to be stricter with you. Steady looked Mito over, watching his reaction. It seems you don't fully understand, Steady continued. First of all, a hero candidate who has received a divine blessing. Steady's gaze settled on Nagasho. Would never lose to such a weak monster. How annoying you are, said Nagasho. The main thing is to show desire. Nagasho concentrated and used her blessing. The ogre was defeated. You were capable of this from the very beginning, Steady commented, looking at this. Your fear and hesitation are preventing you. Is this the only problem? Mito was surprised, continuing to watch the battles. With an increase in the level of divine blessing, there is even a chance to receive another blessing. Steady smiled slyly. I have one thing for you, Mito. Steady didn't finish speaking as Shinjo suddenly approached them. Shinjo, what is it? Asked Mito. My assessment found another blessing on you, Shinjo said. Mito now had two blessings. The sword that protects from evil, and the lethal attack on the monster. A new blessing, Mito thought. Mr. Steady, can I go out next? Mito asked. Of course, Steady readily agreed. That's why we have combat training. In the arena opposite Mito stood a huge monster, an ogre. Mito decided to try out two of his blessings at the same time. First of all, Mito activated the sword that protects from evil. And also, activate deadly attack on the monster, Mito commanded. Mito watched the ogre's reaction. What? Is he afraid? Mito remarked. Sorry, but there will be no mercy. I'm attacking, he shouted and rushed at the monster. The ogre had no chance. Mito literally chopped the unfortunate ogre into pieces. Ha! Mito shouted, finally cutting off the monster's head. Shinjo watched the battle closely. With such strength, even an armored bear will not be much of a problem, Shinjo stated. So, with the increase in the level of my rating, I can also receive a new blessing. And if you look at it this way, Shinjo reasoned, then there is another one whose level of blessing has increased. Shinjo decided to evaluate Arashi and discovered that he had an additional blessing, In addition to the explosion, Arashi had the blessing of Mina. Well, there's no point in telling him about this, Shinjo decided, knowing Arashi's hot temper. So, the power of the blessing can increase? Shinjo continued to intensively dig for the truth. In this world, standard methods will not work. It looks like I need training too. At night, Arashi gathered the guys for a meeting. Are you serious, Arashi? Narumi was perplexed. Yes. Arashi answered without a bit of hesitation. First we'll kill Guy, then we'll grab Leonora and beat the hell out of her. How to return to your world. Okay, it's time to get out of this world. One of the guys happily supported him. And if we kill Leonora, then we don't have to be afraid that they will call us again. He joined another guy. Join us, Narumi, Arashi suggested. You're also fed up with their antics, right? What are the chances that we will succeed? Narumi hesitated. With you, they should be at times increase, Arashi convinced him. I just want to return to our world. Why do you need to kill someone for this? Narumi wondered. But the events of the last days came back to Narumi's memory. The armored bear that almost killed Hashimoto. Okay. Narumi finally made a decision. I'm in. The rest of the students were unaware of what their classmates were up to. They continued to train hard, especially Mido. He was honing his sword skills. What zeal? Shinjo said with slight sarcasm. Shinjo, Mido replied, noticing that Shinjo was watching him. I'm still too weak, so I need to find a way to become stronger. You can already defeat more than half of the knights of this country, can't you? Shinjo remarked. But I'm still not able to defeat Guy. And I don't like it, Mido objected. I need more strength. I won't be happy until I can protect all of us. Mido, what do you think about Leonora? Shinjo asked. For her, we are just pawns in her plan. Mido answered. I don't think Guy was lying when he said that. We won't be harmed as long as we follow orders. So, if she orders, Shinjo paraphrased, we will fight the Demon King to the death? That's right. Everything has already been decided. Mido stood his ground, but I will be the only one who will fight him. I will defeat the Demon King as the hero of this country. And in exchange for this, I will try to bargain for a better life for all of us. Mido added for a second, thinking for a moment. It's a good plan, but do you think Leonora will agree to something like that? Shinjo doubted. I'm swinging my sword precisely for the sake of her recognition, Mido unexpectedly admitted. Today, you all gave it your all. Leonora praised the guys. Mistress Leonora? Steady greeted her. Steady, before we're gone, the hero candidates will remain in your care. Leonora gave orders. Yes, you can rely on me. Steady readily agreed. While you're gone, are you heading somewhere? Nagasho asked. Yes, we will be away for several days, Leonora confirmed. During this time, Steady will become your curator. On this, let me take my leave, Leonora said finally. Is everything really okay? Guy asked after Leonora got into the carriage. What are you talking about? Leonora didn't understand. I would like you to stop pretending to be a fool, Guy answered in all seriousness. Arasi is up to something, that's for sure. Leonora was silent for a while, taking a sip from her cup. Most likely, he will try to rebel against us, she said calmly. What do you plan to do? Guy asked. I'm wondering what he'll come up with, Leonora answered relaxedly. Let's close our eyes to everything for now. I don't mind, but it's still developing, and he is a hero candidate. Even if it's small, there is a chance that they will unite. Guy continued to worry. They can't defeat me, Leonora answered with confidence. It's impossible. The carriage slowly moved forward. The slow rocking relaxed Leonora. You're right, but Guy still couldn't calm down. Don't you think that this is even beneficial for us? Leonora interrupted him. I wanted to gradually start showing them where their place in this world is. Suddenly, the expression of her the calm face changed sharply. This uprising is an excellent reason to break their claws. Leonora grinned with her yellow inhuman eyes. There is another suspicious person. Should we leave her alone? Leonora smiled sweetly again. As night fell, Shinjo decided to start training. He identified monsters, and honed his skills on them. Shinjo trained every night, becoming stronger and stronger each time. I was able to kill this monster in 13 seconds. Shinjo was somewhat satisfied with your skills. But that wasn't enough for him. Activate assessment, he decided to test himself. Shinjo discovered the blessing, displaying weaknesses. Most likely, I raised my level by killing that demon. Shinjo remembered Delphus. Now the question is how to apply this in practice, he thought. Suddenly the silence of the night was broken by a noise. Shinjo turned around and saw an ogre eager to feast on human flesh. Ogre! Shinjo was surprised. The ogre immediately rushed to attack, but Shinjo was ready for it. He skillfully handled edged weapons, but this ogre turned out to be surprisingly strong. Durable, Shinjo noted, but this is an ideal opportunity for experimentation. The ogre attacked, but Shinjo deftly dodged. Soon, Shinjo decided to try out his new blessing. Activate display of weaknesses, Shinjo commanded, and began to examine the monster for vulnerabilities. He eventually discovered a weak point on the ogre's neck. Puh! The ogre panted, still trying to attack Shinjo, but he dealt him his fatal blow with his blade. Guagragre ogre before falling dead. Shinjo was almost pleased with himself. The skill showed me the softest part of the ogre's skin. Shinjo figured out his new blessing. I see. So this is how displaying weaknesses works. Shinjo once again looked at the body of the killed monster. Not a bad force, but this is not enough, Shinjo thought. I won't last long in this world. I need to become stronger. Shinjo continued to think intensely.